Okay, today guys, I have an amazing video. I'm going to be uploading the entire 40-minute weekly review session that I had. There was a lot of good questions asked. I went over a lot of good trades I took this week. It was CPI week, so there was a lot of movement. We went up, we went down. We had a lot of good trades, lots of longs to be honest, because that's what I'm, better at catching, just being honest. But I hope you guys enjoy the video today. Most importantly, as always, I hope you really do learn something from this video and take some value from it. I'm trying to do these free reviews more often so you guys who really can't pay for, me to mentor you guys every single day can at least get more from just the YouTube and, be able to ask me questions and so on and so forth. I really enjoyed connecting with some people, who I might not be able to usually, but, whether you can pay, whether you can't pay, I want to be able to help out. But, there's a reason members pay, and there's a reason why we have 40 plus members paid out. I'm also currently giving away 3 funded accounts in the Discord. So lots of opportunity in there. Don't miss out on the value. Join in the description. Let's go ahead and get right into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
But I want to take a look. Obviously you guys know me. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. My main focus, for Thursday, Friday, especially for like a weekly profile. I mean, even for like, the higher time frame, we've taken out plenty of lows, internal, external here, and then you can see how we react from that low. I think that was the same thing in one of these Wednesdays where we had an SMT at the low, one of these lows, and continue higher. But you can see the obvious SMT with that low there, right? ES breaking it and then coming right back inside the range. All the guys in the group, you guys know how I feel about, wicks like this, and especially reacting from an SMT, then you kind of go on the daily time frame. You don't like quite open in the wick. And that was one thing I wanted to see during like the 3 a.m. session. Long dead open, we kind of get Asia model. And that's like the one we post, like I posted on YouTube, right? We open with an INWOG. We have an idea for a protected low running from here. Then we continue higher, right? We take out a previous high. We even kind of have, equal highs here. So continuing from there, this is kind of just like textbook. The only thing that I didn't like was, our 3 and our 4 here. One thing you'll notice is I was paying attention to micros and we made equal lows right at 3. So that's kind of just unfortunate. One thing that I didn't see there, and that runs from also a higher high here. So ES made, making higher highs on NQ here, making higher highs on NQ on the lower time frame SMT, where ES is, taking out that low at, a good time-based reversal, and then continuing. Obviously, this one didn't hold right at 3, so I'm not gonna lie. There's some people. I think Leon sent me a trade here, and he got stopped out. This one was just really unfortunate, especially with the SMT. Usually you guys see us entering right somewhere around here in the 330, especially with the wicks accumulating, manipulating, and following some type of distribution. I don't know why I didn't close as much. Seeing this is like an obvious time-based signature, right? Even here, right? We've got our suit, and then we go internal to external. Even here, right? 3 equal highs, a lot of induced liquidity, and then we use, said order block. If you want to use the order block, call it an order block or breaker block, whatever. All right, just understanding that this, ran internal, external, and had a suit. Even here, right? You can see the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And I'm not like, honestly, like you guys know how I trade. I'm not gonna like, I was in short here. It looked good. I'm not gonna flip and close, these lowers. I mean, shorts have been playing out, but like I've been saying it like Monday, Tuesday. The end of the trend really isn't the friend, so I'm not gonna be like, trying to aggressively, take shorts. And then also even into that, the previous day high draw. I don't remember who. I think it was Uric again and like Ethereal. Right, we've got a pretty clear draw, especially into the buy model and the SMT. You can see, clear. What is that background? But yeah, that's like textbook, like 3 a.m. reversal. Just didn't take that there. And, from there, right, we can kind of see our obvious market maker model, low resistance. If you want to see this as an accumulation leg, then breaking lower and, continuing to reaccumulate here. The big thing to notice with like market maker models is, like we always do, even in, here, can't remember what day, when was it? There was one 6 p.m. we longed and it did not break the high. Might have been Tuesday, or am I tripping? I don't know. I can't really remember, but you guys always see, we end up putting in equal highs. We put in relative, or lower highs like this, and just induce more liquidity. So that's why I have such a strong bias and longing. Most of the time, rather than shorting. Even if the market does look bearish, like I'm gonna have you know, the ulterior motive of, oh, if we sweep this low, have an SMT, and, you know, also, you know, revert back into the range very aggressively, you know, failure swing here. And now we kind of have an idea of, oh, we have an order block and equal highs above. And that's exactly what we run to. And then, you know, continue distributing from there. It also has to do with, like, I, you know, tell everybody the if then thinking. You know, if you use if then from the previous day, you know, like we said, if then from the previous day SMT into this 4 hour rejection block. And it's not really like the best rejection block, but I like how we use the wick. So, you know, probably on another time frame that'll look a lot better. But even, you know, 1, 2, 3 candle model, right? And then, you know, continuing if then, right? If this is the, you know, manipulation candle, this should be the distribution candle, right? But it doesn't distribute. You know, then you can just think of it as distortion, right? Because we don't manipulate in this next candle, right? We just kind of reaccumulate, manipulate in 3 a.m., and then continue. And, you know, you saw this little manipulation here. I talked about why, you know, I didn't really trust that, did trust it. You know, if you were up at like 6:30, you know, and right around this time, you know, if I was up, I feel like this probably would have been the best, you know, long attempt after missing out on that 3, right? Because I didn't want to just completely flip, you know, flip bias. I'm gonna, you know, I really wanted us to tap previous day equilibrium, you know, fib to that high to that low, you know, reaccumulating, leaving a lot of internal, manipulate quickly right into the order block BPR. This is one of those, right? Like we said, you know, you're kind of coming into, you know, double tap and triple tap territory. And this is why, you know, you guys see me on London a lot more. Sometimes you will get that where you get the continuation, you know, just continue and, you know, you get the in-wong, opens, continues. That's kind of where that Asian session strategy comes from. The if then from the next day. That's why that's the main one I posted. That's the one that's kind of just the most obvious and easy to take. Distributes, closes past the high. Even this market maker model right here is, you know, low time frame, really clean. Right, we have the SMT at the low, right? We've induced equal highs. Where are we coming into and rejecting off of? Right, OTE. We did get a little bit of a closure, but probably on the 15-minute, you know, just wicks. And then, you know, not the best like time-based manipulation time, but you know, that's if then thinking, right? Because then we have, you know, our 130 open, and you guys see me trade the 130s good time. But yeah, hold on one second. All right, bet. But no, yeah, I know you were looking at NQ. I'm just kind of marking it off ES because that's what I was trading today. And I don't want to be like, oh, there's a reason I was waiting it, but I felt like it was a bit cleaner, especially deriving from like the 6 a.m. But yeah, I mean they look about the same, but yeah, even, you know, delivering from OTE, right, souping that candle out, and then even going into like your next hourly open. Hourly candles probably look good there, and then, you know, you guys can, you know, I don't want to say, oh, you guys can see, but you guys can most likely probably see this low time frame buy model. You know, it delivers perfectly, right? We've got this, all right, mark this out. You know, even soup that low there. Probably like a 5-minute gap. Yeah, 5-minute gap low, previous high. But, you know, these low time frame buy models are like a lot of the time, like even if you're catching this inside of here, you know, and a lot of the times I'll trade these, right? Okay, you know, we have, you know, reaccumulating above the old high. Our candles have closed as well, 15, 5-minute, even like the 30-minute, right? We see 430. So, you know, we have that opportunity of like, oh, the 30-minute being that type of candle that either soups or continues. I think it fucking, oh no, yeah, either soups or continues with that one candle. You know, we kind of see that there, and right, that derives from the lower time frame being balanced, so you don't have to have manipulation, right? We can leave the fair value gap open. BPR there, and then BPR is closing on a lower time frame, right? That 15-minute closure and the hourly closure, 30-minute. You know, so looking pretty good there. Everything's kind of making sense for why we would leave the fair value gap open, why this SMT would hold, why we closed it, or why we failed to close OTE. And it's like at this point, it's like, oh, you know, you can take a trade like this into the order block, and just not chase the highs, because that's not what we're doing. But you guys have obviously, I mean, I don't want to keep saying obviously because some guys haven't heard this, but even like ICT, second leg distribution of a market maker model, right? It's just going to deliver equal highs. Even if you're like, oh, not, excuse me, even if you're worried about, this being a soup or whatever, you could put everything else into perspective, have your narrative as well. And then all you got to do, from this point is zoom out. That's kind of how, I'm able to, spot, hey, I don't know if I put it in chat or if I don't know, I didn't send it a free chat, but I'll find a screenshot of that in a second. Me talking about this SMT last night. That's why I longed here. Easy in dog continuation. uh and then we get the understanding for why we can continue here, inside the market maker model and leave that fair value gap open. And this is literally how every trade looks. This is like textbook. If we go into like 330 and zoom in a little bit more, it looks like that. I just, you know, OTE, especially into here, right? That low would have looked decent, but we just end up using the order block. That's what somebody asked me, is like, when do you know to use the order block in a situation like this? Or when it'll continue to sweep out the low. And that's just one of those examples of last night of just me not being on top of it. That's why that's why you need to trade with order flow, right? Yeah, the market's short, but we have these underlying things to be able to catch that reversal. But yeah, that's really clean. I'm about to get into like the AM, because obviously, all of this is like my reason for saying, oh, it's an easy long at 6 p.m. Coming into whatever, long in here, hold above here, and then I think I closed like once we broke this high. And this accumulation looked a little sus into, even even right in how we always see, right back into OTE. So more trading the manipulation there, and not knowing if, hey, we're gonna react to OTE, or hey, if we're gonna run past these lows. And the RR was there for me, that's why I took it. But it's one of those, look in the journal and you're like, don't really like that one. Even this one, like, I kind of like it. You guys know how I am. I like bigger candles on the manipulation, and that's what we got. Right, leaving equal lows below. And I don't think there was a real SMT at that low. Or no, there was, just retarded. But when I say a real SMT, you guys know how I feel about that. It's more the more obvious ones. I'm pretty sure. Might be thinking about something else, but yeah, more obvious. Like, it has to be obvious. Like, especially even here, right? I can kind of fill out a market maker model into this reaccumulation leg, and then like you guys can see that there. So just flipping the buy model, obvious sell model, and then selling on the big green candle above an old high. Obvious manipulation, even if it is back to external to internal. That's not like the greatest trade in the world. I'm not like marveling over like this short there, but it's an alright trade. I think you said you got stopped out at the 10 a.m. around 10:30. Was that this one? This IFEG? 1021. Might have been this. But even here, this buy model's clean as hell, right? You guys, I keep saying you guys can see, but I would hope you guys can see. Even here, breaking that new high, and then coming right back into an OTE. So even if you short this, you see we failed to close an OTE and then displaced, right? Then we're using those previous, even from over here, right? Those previous down closure candles as support higher, internal, external. And would you look at that? We use the order block again after turtle souping inside of the market maker buy model, and you guys can see again that this looks the same as the previous Asia session, right? I'm just zooming it out, pushing it in, going to different time frames, but I'm all making it look the same in the narrative. And it's not like, oh, I'm forcing it to look the same, right? I'm just zooming in, pulling out just a little bit. You know, so that there, and like I know, I understand like this, like seeing this much volatility makes it really hard to, you know, believe that either this wick is gonna hold or if the SMT from the low itself is gonna hold. And I don't think there was what I was looking for. Yeah, there wasn't one here. Was it? I gotta quit doing that. Oh my fucking god, retarded. Um, yeah. Either way, we didn't even like really SMT, but it's kind of the same thing as going into like, you know, how we delivered from this low here. Like no, I don't. I mean, you guys know me. I wouldn't have tried to short any of this. Right, we have the previous day high draw above. Just waiting for a bullish soup. I'm really disappointed I wasn't in this. But that's why I'm telling you guys to always enter at OTE. Even if you're getting FOMO of the trade, it's probably gonna try and wick your ass out, especially IFVGs. Like, you know, they're killer. But this is just one of those where, you know, you get the soup right at 10, right with the news, and then we deliver with inside of the wick. And I think a lot of people probably shorted to this data low and got absolutely railed. That's what people were complaining about on TikTok today. Um, yeah, but that's funny as hell. Did that hold over the? Oh my god, that's dog shitty. Ugh. Oh my god. Holy fuck. Oh my god. You can't make that shit up. Holy fuck. Oh my god, bro. I'm sorry. That's rough. That's a rough one. I'm gonna pull that on the thing so they like. I want that to be. Oh man, I want that. I'll slide that in the video. That's rough right there. Um. Wow. Yeah, and just with, especially with how YM is, right? That is just unfortunate. And that comes into like how I was saying, like I'll use OT a previous day, right? That's why this long was like not perfect to me. You know, you had all this built up low resistance into an OTE. Um, but you know, the higher time frame kind of held power there, you know, running from this suit internal, external, and then chopping around there. But even if you use you know, this high to this low, right, you can see we entered a discount and then kind of run slap into an SMT with 3, and then we revert and close back into the range. So I mean, I like, bruh, that is so unfortunate. Yeah, Neef, that's mad unfortunate. Sometimes you'll just get that, but that's why I mean that's why I tell you guys, like, you know, you entered. I don't want you to go back and look at it and be like, damn, I should have done this, should have done that. But that's when you some of those you enter, um, and like even if like whatever your stop was, damn, that's a good entry. Even if wrong one, even if you know your entry is whatever like this, and you have your stop below, you know, accumulation, manipulation, souped out low. Even for like the 4 hour power of 3, right? 6 opens, moves lower, high, and then we can see, you know, you guys can see the market make even the power of 3 distribution, right? This is like a lot of the way that I use OTE, right? We have a power like clean obvious power of 3, right? Higher time frame, 4 hour inside the 6 hour, and that's why I trade like certain 4 hour candle openings. We'll open, manipulate lower into a PD array, right? And then we talked about how this was able to hold here, and then distributes. We have displacement. Where do we come into? Right into an OTE. And you're getting a banger entry. And yeah, it's the order block, but sometimes you won't get this clean ass formed ass order block. Sometimes it'll be really sloppy. Sometimes it'll just be barcodes if it's ES. You know, and if you're setting your limit there, forgot we're in hindsight bar replay, but even if you're setting your limit there, you know, 100 take stop, and then whatever 200, 300. Where was these equal highs at? Even these. I mean, all of the, like, that's like decent targets, you know, even to like OTE of that, like roughly around like right here, is a decent first target, right? Somewhere like that. Maybe that high, maybe like right into the wick, right? Still like a great 3 RR. Nah, specific times. It's like a time-based breaker, right? Uh, this type of quote unquote structure, but how we were delivering here, how all of this shit I talked about, you know, a lot of a lot of it's not hindsight, but it's following price leads into predicting. Um, right, for me to be able to predict a soup, at this time, I mean, and you guys have seen me in so many trades long at 330. Even that day that one failed, the hilt, like, it was still a decent break even, right? Because we get a good entry right around 330, breaks a new higher high, and then it just moves lower, right? You're able to either partial, get a break even in, um, whatever the case may be. But even for like this one, right? Good OT entries, right? You're able to stop, go break even, maybe get a partial off, and even if that hits, this kind of comes into where I'll enter the double taps. First tap, second tap, and then it kind of comes into the or not, yeah, tripping there, right? Same 4 hour, right? First tap, double tap, inside of the 4 hour, and I don't know. I don't want to be like, oh, I should have been in this, but this was super sloppy, right? We have a clean order block, decent soup, but just one of those times where it's you kind of second guessing yourself whether Asia low or day will hold. And that's what I mean by time-based breaker here, where it's like an obvious market maker model, right? We have a souped out low, and I'm always saying, hey, we look for displacement into a reaccumulation, right? We start reaccumulating above old highs to manipulate into those, previous down close candles to use them as a roadblock, support price higher. And then all you gotta do is like zoom out, right? And then, we see that we're doing the same thing here, right? We soup, close above, right? And then, low time frame talked about that, and then just continue here, right? Reaccumulate, manipulate, distribute. And then the 4 hour is like not the best, but have a 4 hour gap, fail to close below it. I just a little sloppy here. I mean, nothing you can really say. I entered in long there. Would have been a good hole, but I was expecting, on a previous day, candle to at least get like an OTE of it. But I mean, I guess we technically did where we opened, so. Yeah, especially displacing above this high. It's just, I don't know, a little bit hard to be confident in just displacing and using a breakaway gap when we've been so bearish. So I'm not really like mad. I don't know. I'm glad with how I traded that. Yeah, pretty much. Based on price action at this time, we can predict this. And then, based on previous price action, we can predict this. It's like if, the 4 hour candle's done this, then the 1 hour should do this, then the 30-minute and the 15-minute. And then that all derives, from the previous session, right? Time-based liquidity, I'm trading certain sessions. So I take the Asia Open into, the London into, usually AM. I skipped AM today, trade PM, but whatever. And it's like, if we open volatilely, just displace lower and then, move higher. I could see two type of things there, right? But either way, it's going to be bullish price action, continuing into the high. Right, we're starting to reaccumulate, right? We could easily manipulate the lows, but if we open with an end dog, I wouldn't be, opposed to trying it once. Using that end dog roughly around here to support price higher, and then finish out the buy model, right? Because like we were seeing low time frame, sorry, I'm out of breath, but So much yapping, my goddamn mouth is getting dry too. But you know, even here, right? You guys can see we've broken the new high, started reaccumulating above. All right, pause. I'm gonna have to say it because you said it, you freaking weirdo. Anyway, right, we can see the second leg reaccumulation above our previous highs of our buy model. All right, even here, I mean, you guys can see the buy model. If you can't, you know, just lock in. Let me know. We'll go back over market maker buy and sell models. But you know, and the reason I say even like all of this is technically like you could see all of this as an accumulation, and you know why is that, right? You're still inside the previous candle's range, previous candle's range. You know, and that's why no soup is needed here. Yeah, you technically get, you know, an accumulation, manipulation, distribution, but if you're looking to trade in here and you're like, oh, we got displacement and order block, right? But we got triple equal lows below and triple equal highs above. That's like 90% of the time. I'm telling you guys, I'm not gonna kill myself and try inside of this range. First tap here, even double tap here, right? We should deliver if we're gonna deliver higher. You guys can see that V shape. It's around like an 11, not perfect time, but either way, new hour candle open. And yeah, was there an SMT there even? Yeah, so SMT, right? So that should have delivered higher if it wanted to, and it didn't. You know, good soup to take there at that time. But like even this one, right? 3 a.m. into 3:30, right? Good time based. And would you look at that using the NWOG, just how we showed, you know, other supporting price. PM session delivers, right? We soup the low, displace past the high. Now we have a range. Don't quite tap OTE, right? So it's like you have in your head, oh, triple or you know, triple, god damn it, triple equal lows. All right, and then you're like, oh, do we have an SMT at those? Oh, well, we do. Okay, makes me, you know, makes me more comfortable on this low holding, you know, not needing to tap OT, right? Because we can see the accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and then, you know, coming back inside the range into an equilibrium, into a discount, and then delivering from there. And then that kind of goes into like the next session. You know, if this PM holds and we deliver in the NWOG and reaccumulate above the high, you then can expect manipulation at your next time-based liquidity point. And you know, we know it's Asia, London, and then AM. And then it's into specific candles, specific times. You guys know how I feel about right at 3 and then like into 3:30 a.m. So either or, kind of pick your poison with that. Even here, right? What do we see again? Right, the low to high. Wow, why did OTE? Get a little bit of closure there, but it's not like the greatest closure. You know, no displacement. Yeah, we get displacement here, but what can you form? You know, right there, right? We've got some equal highs. You know, and then reaccumulates right before we manipulate those lows one more time. Soup that out. And then when do we do it? Right? Right at 3 open, right? 3 open high, low, and then, you know, doesn't close. I said that completely wrong. But let me go to one minute time frame so I can show that better. Where are we at? Sorry, I said that wrong. My bad. Right back to here. Even get that first purge, right? 3 opens, sweep the high, right? Manipulate lower with displacement, and then that's where you get your soup from. And you know, it's like, oh, you just soup the high. How would you expect to, you know, shouldn't this be a high resistance high? And that kind of comes into the thinking with like, you know, where I've kind of taught in the group. Some of you guys have gotten NQ longs fucking syndrome where you only want a long. I kind of have that sometimes too, but you know, that's where that thinking of, oh, we get this soup mitigates, you know, this fair value gap area. But especially with these, you just got to be careful. It's not an IOFED. But even here, right, we get an instant closure back inside the range. And then now you can formulate, oh, we've even got a, you know, low time frame buy model here, right, with this, souping out that low, and then delivering. And that's where, am I tripping? Yeah, I knew it didn't necessarily. Yeah, and that comes into like a low time frame SMT there. And that it's another thing I tell everybody. Like, if you guys are gonna be souping this, right? Where's your stop? Where is your stop? Well, if we're entering the soup, right, we're either trusting ourselves to enter below the wicks, in the wicks, or, trusting OTE. A lot of it's trusting OTE inside of everything else. That's why I'm commenting so much on like how I think of. That's why I look at how much. That's why I look so much at like what's happened before, because it definitely matters, even into like that low and that SMT there. But I mean, you guys know where your stop is. Easy, like low hanging fruit will give the partial, this high inside the range. Previous range OTE as well, just in case we, leave a lower high or something. We'll give our easiest low hanging fruit possible. And I want to see if it's still a 3RR with souping and having your soup or your stop below the low. Right, 239. I don't know, especially with I mean, that kind of goes into, if you want to take this low hanging fruit partial, right, in OT of the range, or how you see kind of most of the trades, right? Three low resistance highs. This is not holding. We're not playing the triple tap game. Reaccumulating above old high manipulation at the time based. Then I started seeing a new one, bro. There's a fucking new PDA dropped. It's fuck, I already forgot the name of it. But it's not really. It's just a troll. I've seen somebody using it, but it's like PIFEG. It's like pre-inversion FEG. But it's really a good way to think, right? Because if you're gonna manipulate, you need to have an FEG, right, to really sell that trap. Oh, we're gonna move short, right? Shows the manipulation with volatility and displacement, and right into your soup. And that's how a lot of people can't enter them, right? Because they see this, they're like, oh, it has to keep going lower. Perfect buying opportunity. And then it's like, oh, if you see the IFEG guys entering right here like this, like why would you be scared to just hold, wherever their first take profit was? And then that's why I was like, oh, into here. Yeah, so even that, good 3R, that was like, not the IFEG, obviously, but, entering here in the OT. And what sometimes I'll do is, if I'm not sure, like, oh, I have this great, good idea, might, whatever, OT's right here, we sweep the low, come back, whatever. Say I just set a limit. Sometimes I'll set, like, not even like half risk, like 25% of normal risk, right? Because the stop's way bigger here, right? Huge. And then let it, set the actual, take like whatever. If I was going to risk like 1 mini, just enter 8 here and then 2 there, right? And it doesn't average out. It is still a bit bigger of a loss, but if you're really FOMOing, you guys are struggling with that, that's a good way to enter OT. But you got to have the narrative of the low holding below, right? And even here, he's going to zoom out and do it again. All right, I'm being a nerd, but well, let me show it on the 5. Right, even here, we'll delete all this off, and you guys can even see, right, we showed that SMT here, boom, reaccumulates like we talk about. Why do I like the reaccumulations above old highs? Well, look at that, reaccumulating above, right, almost using a support and resistance, right, but it's just the breaker, in WOG, right, for me, kind of a time-based breaker, into, oh wow, we have a reaccumulation to the left, so that's why I was willing to take that and, fucking banged. So I don't even know, right? A good thing here is like, oh, this is a good partial, right? Instead of taking an OT partial inside of this range, right? You can either, like we said, at the high, or go up just a little bit. Now we've got an order block, so, this might be scary. It's like, oh, if you had your TP here, you might get emotional, but nothing is like really invalidated. Just hold your shit, and then, now you've got, now you're just whatever, wherever our OT entry was, I know it was like right around there, right? But now you're even stretching that RR even more, on a first partial. 500 is a decent amount, so that could be like whatever, 20%, 30, and then you can either take some in OT of the range, maybe maybe be out at 50%, you know, some at EQ, some at OTE, and then hold the rest for, you know, the high, right? Because we can see the buy model, and even if it doesn't deliver, right? Oh, here's OTE. We get two partials, and then we can just kick our feet back. We've got like, you know, half running. Oh, bam, run straight into. Wasn't that CPI? Oh, that was CPI. But yeah, pretty simple. That's why, you know, the higher time frame draw set in here into place. Damn, I forgot that was Wednesday. But yeah, that's pretty good even recap for CPI. And that's why I was so, I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I posted that and I had one runner left, I was like, man, watch this shit run the previous day high. I don't know why. I remember partialing inside the range. I don't know why I did that. I'll have to go back and look at the journal. Can't give you a specific answer for why exactly I partialed in the range right there. I think once again it kind of comes into having, you know, this bearish price action and not trusting, you know, our gaps on a higher time frame down there, especially into like an order block. You know, big volatile manipulation, especially on a CPI day, right in the order block, followed by distribution. But that's where we get the, you know, if then thinking, right? If then, you know, if this holds, then it could be low a day and continue from London. But let's see. I'm recording for like 40 minutes. So if anybody got any questions, you know, you guys can throw them in chat. But yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording.